Part 2. Chapter 8. Your Outer Journey. You know that you are ready to begin telling your truth when you begin doing it. Telling the truth about everything is the switch. Until the switch, these are nothing more than ideas in your mind. Your awakening is the start of a movement toward inner truth, but your outer journey makes it real. The new reality begins the moment you remove dishonesty as an option in your life. Here there can be very little confusion. There is either the light of honesty or the darkness of untruth. The practice of endless patience. The shift from dishonesty to honesty is a process of change. You are changing the way you think, the way you see the world, what you do, who you give your attention to, and the way you respond to everything in life. Beyond these personal changes, also remember that there is a process of change that you can expect everyone in your life to also be going through. Because you're changing so drastically, they will need time to adjust. Be not just patient with the process and with everyone involved, be endlessly patient. In fact, there is no end to this process or a point where things return to the old normal. This is a new way of experiencing life. You're an intelligent, reasonable person. You probably aren't going to announce all your previously hidden truths right away. In many cases, you still need to understand what your truths are and what you even want to say. So it is enough to set an intention that moving forward, you will decide for truth whenever possible. You will begin to be honest with yourself about when you are being even slightly dishonest, and you will begin to correct it. In cases where total honesty doesn't seem feasible, perhaps a job you know you would lose the moment you said what's on your mind, you may simply recognize the inner truth of the situation and then choose to begin moving in the direction of finding another way to earn a living. In other words, if you feel trapped in a dishonest situation and there is no space for truth there, the path of honesty may require that you leave the situation. This can be delayed for a short time, but ultimately the dishonesty must end for you to be happy. The easiest way to change a situation is always to tell the truth and see what happens. You tell your truth and let others deal with you. Don't make any assumptions about how anyone will react to anything. This is being open. Just let them know. Then let them decide what to do with you. You can be practical on some level, but make no mistake, as long as you continue to put up with a situation anywhere in your life in which you must continue to be dishonest, you will continue suffering now, and the situation will build up to a crisis. To avoid this, at some point, truth and honesty is required. Tell your positive truths. The most important of all your truths are the ones about what you do want. Rather than telling others what not to do, why not tell them how much you enjoy it when they do something you appreciate? Rather than expressing what you do not want, why not express your positive visions and truths? Positive truths open doors, while negative truths close them. Closed doors mean broken communication between you and other people. The changes you want cannot happen for you while communication is broken. Everything you want on some level requires collaboration and connection with other people. Nothing done, created, or experienced in isolation is ultimately very real because it is not shared. Lay out your wildest fantasies, your seemingly impossible visions of happiness and joy. Discuss your revelations and breakthroughs. Now you are leading others toward the destination of happiness that is yours. You are laying aside your dream of fear and inviting them to conspire with you in your mischief of happiness. Let feelings guide the way. There are many theories about self-improvement and many paths to enlightenment. While other strategies and options can also be effective, telling the truth is the clearest, easiest, and most certain path toward happiness for a few reasons. Firstly, putting honesty into practice feels good. The moment you express your truth or confess what you are correcting, you naturally feel the weight lift from your shoulders. You can breathe again. You can rest. Then, in almost no time at all, You feel positive energy, excitement, and inspiration starting to flow back into your life. Not only does the path of truth make you feel good, your body effortlessly tells you whether you're on the right track. If you feel anything negative, such as fear, stress, anxiety, anger, or frustration, you can know without a doubt that you are on the path leading to suffering and crisis. To find the right path, simply recognize your feelings. Then allow your mind time to catch up, time to understand what went wrong and all the reasons why. Most people live cut off from feelings, with total faith and a confused mind. An awakened person knows that thoughts create emotions. Fear-based, panicked thoughts have an instant effect on the body. Your heart rate accelerates, your breathing is tense, you clench up, you feel stressed out and lousy. This creates a negative feedback loop between the mind and body. When your body is stressed, your thoughts get even more confused, stressing the body even further. This is the cause of illness and insanity. People pretend to be cut off from feelings so that the logical, rational mind is in control. This is denial and illusion, however, because it is impossible not to feel what is going on within your body. That's what your body does. It always feels. That's also what your mind does. It always produces thoughts. But thoughts mislead you, while feelings are always real. Smile at thoughts. Listen to the body. The mind pretends to ignore what you feel, yet all its decisions and reactions flow from it. If you feel tired, your mind often assumes a grumpy attitude. If you feel overly stressed, your mind is likely to choose the reaction of anger. When the body is feeling lousy, the mind usually reacts in a way that generates more problems, more stress, more fear. Now there is a negative feedback loop, not just between the mind and body, but also between what appears to be happening to you in the external world. You are then in a state of chaos and spiraling toward crisis. The mind cannot be the ultimate unchecked authority because the mind cannot feel, it only thinks. The mind may tell you that doing this or that will lead to happiness, but the mind is not an expert on happiness. Happiness is beyond the mind because it is not experienced there. Let the heart, your inner dimension, your body, tell you when you are feeling good and when you are feeling lousy. Feelings must be your guide, not ideas. Good ideas always flow from good feelings. When all you're doing is rooted in a positive state of being, you can't fail. If you are tired or grumpy, then rest. If you are frustrated, then do something else. If you are fearful or panicked, then take a step back and remember. The only way to break the negative spiral is to stop sacrificing and learn not to follow every train of thought. Meditation teaches you to let thoughts go, to not let one crazy thought lead to another. Thought isn't nearly as important as your mind has led you to believe. Whatever you are feeling at any moment, be honest with yourself and others about it. By telling the truth, life conspires to fix how you feel. If you decide to delay telling the truth and pretend that everything is all right when it isn't, you are delaying feeling good. Not only this, you are generating more problems in your life by acting from a position of confusion and powerlessness. Doing your best means doing when you feel your best. No doing that comes from a negative state can lead to a positive result. What you create is always a reflection of how you feel. Feelings are always leading the way. Relax. Much less doing is now required of you. Now you have learned to cut out all that which isn't leading to the results you want. Furthermore, you are starting from the result you want, the state of feeling good. Because you're already there, no doing is required at all. Fill your life with only truth. When you have turned the switch, truth and honesty become the status quo in all areas of your life. Not just in your relationship, but also with all members of your family. Not just with friends, but also with colleagues, your customers, relatives, neighbors, and everyone else. Even the entertainment you consume should be more honest to reinforce your new reality. At a minimum, you'll probably want to avoid advertising. Even movies and music can reinforce the confused thought system of the world. Don't try to force yourself to stop enjoying the entertainment that you do enjoy, but stay aware of how it affects the way you think and feel. Be sure you do enjoy the content you are consuming. You may find yourself becoming bored with all the cliche and simply choosing to do something else with your time. Today's entertainment is mostly about drama, and drama can only flow from the error you are undoing here, dishonesty and illusion. Most popular entertainment models and reinforces the supposed realness of confusion, dishonesty, drama, chaos, and crisis. Some of it does so with humor, showing the ridiculousness of it all, and this can be enjoyable and helpful. Other types of entertainment take ego seriously, and when you see this, you will ultimately become very bored with it. Entertainment may not matter much to you now, because everything you need to fulfill you and entertain you will come from your real life. That need to escape into entertainment to forget your problems, the need to escape from your own life, will be significantly diminished when you have awakened. Everything you have been attempting to escape from are only fearful illusions caused by dishonesty. Your escape from illusion is not found in more illusion, rather only in truth. When you tell the truth, no escape is ever necessary, and your life becomes more enjoyable than the best movie. Nonviolent communication. The moment you begin telling the truth, the people who have been controlling and manipulating you will start to convince you to back away from what you are saying or doing. They will say that they can't believe it. They will ask you if you are sure, what it all means, and now what are they supposed to do? You can easily respond that it is the truth. You're sure that it is the truth, at least right now, and it means exactly what you said, and that they are supposed to respond by expressing their truths as well. Your truth is not a negotiation, though it is subject to change. As important conversations unfold, others may try to tell their truth by saying, honestly, I feel like you just want to, or what I really think is that you're crazy. In such cases, it is best to ask the person to express a truth about himself or herself, rather than a judgment about you. I need you to isn't a need. A need is something that comes from within oneself. In other words, I need you to be on the couch with me every night is a tactic the person thinks will get a need fulfilled, whereby I need to feel connected to you and not alone is the genuine need. Learn to connect on the level of needs, and you easily find ways to meet everyone's needs without any sacrifice or conflict. For this result, total openness and unconditional acceptance is, however, required. This can be a fun and exciting process because you're experimenting in a way that will change your lives for the better. In any real relationship, romantic, friendship, business, or otherwise, it is always enough to simply state your needs. Because it is a relationship, you have a shared purpose. Because there is a shared purpose, you both want the relationship to work. Because you both want the relationship to work, you will both do your best to respond to needs and to respect one another's truths. If this isn't happening, staying gentle yet firm in your honesty will gradually repair the situation. If not, you may begin to see that there is no relationship at all. It isn't necessary to make demands, threats, attacks, or blame and shame anyone to get needs fulfilled. If there is some amount of love and respect in the relationship, it is enough to calmly, lovingly state the need. Saying to your partner, "You should cook, I'm tired of it," will have a far less effective result than simply saying the personal truth, "I'm tired of cooking every meal." Using the second option, you are simply stating your feelings. Because everyone in your life cares about you, they will do their best to respond. If they don't respond in exactly the way you hope or think they should, then you'll have to accept that as the reality of the situation. If the reality of any situation becomes unbearable and you genuinely don't feel like spending time together, then leave. But do so without any blaming, rather only as a need you have. Maybe you simply need time for yourself. Let the other person deal with the reality of the situation. Nobody has a right to make you do, say, or think anything you don't want to do, say, or think. The trick to smooth sailing here is to express your truths and do what you want to do without burning bridges. You do this by being as sensitive as possible without compromising your truths. Whatever you need to say or do, say it or do it in the way that is likely to minimize the negative impact on other people without you having to sacrifice your truth. Of course, the other part of this is being sensitive and caring in response to the truths of others as well. You do value the people in your life, right? Then give them the same space for honesty you want for yourself. By the way, if you don't value that person or the relationship doesn't inspire you on some level, it is okay to gently and honestly let someone go. Finding the true path. In any situation or in any relationship, there is a true path that meets two criteria. 1, all parties have their needs met, and 2, all parties can be honest. Failure to reach that path always has to do with one party's unwillingness to communicate. Of course, the only true form of communication is honest communication, where what is said is also heard and accepted. Do you think that, in taking this approach, it is possible that you will not find a solution to any challenge? Is there not always a compromise or a way to move forward where everyone can be satisfied? There is, but only if all parties believe this and communicate accordingly. Don't be the person who shuts down the communication. If someone else is causing resistance, sometimes there is no other option but to calmly explain your perspective on the matter and to back off for a while. All situations and relationships are an ongoing process. If you create the space of honesty and let it all play out with patience, you can't fail. Imagine how your life would feel if you had no conflict anywhere and an abundance of everything you want. This is the natural, inevitable outcome of the switch. No more sacrifice. The problems of this world were created by people willing to sacrifice. This idea probably goes so much against your way of thinking that you find it opposite of everything you once held to be true. But what is sacrifice? Sacrifice is the setting aside or doing away of what you do want in exchange for what you do not. There are endless reasons for sacrifice, and none are valid or true. Your body's response to sacrifice is always the same. You feel lousy. Deep down, to the core of your stomach, you feel a little bit sick when you enter a state of sacrifice. Your attitude becomes negative. You complain. You become skeptical and sarcastic. Do you expect anything done in this state to lead to anything good? The only positive ending to sacrifice is the ending of it. End sacrifice sooner rather than later. Those who are successful in sacrifice do earn a sort of reward, but it is no reward that you want. Success in sacrifice always earns you the opportunity for more sacrifice. Become good at a small job you do not like, and you will be promoted to a big job you dislike even more. Feign enthusiasm in a relationship that fails to fulfill your needs, and you earn the prize of spending even more time with that person. The beginning of honesty spells the end of sacrifice. If you find yourself sacrificing, first understand why. The reason is always that somewhere along the line, you were dishonest about something. But let's be sure about what is and is not sacrifice. Work, for example, is necessary to some extent and ought not be called sacrifice at all. If you know why you are doing what you are doing and exactly what the result is as something you do want, then work is no sacrifice. Honest work that leads to fair pay is not sacrifice. The work that goes into the creation of something you feel passionate about is not sacrifice. Doing something that somebody else wants to do because you love them or enjoy their company is also not sacrifice. Complying with the law or playing by the rules is also sometimes practical or necessary and need not be considered sacrifice. Just be honest with yourself about what you are doing, why you're doing it, and how it feels. Is the good you want worth what you're putting into it? If not, then don't do it. Does doing it allow you to continue feeling good? If not, stop doing it. You don't ever need to sacrifice, but sometimes you do need to do what needs to be done for the right reasons. Be honest with yourself and others to abolish the error of sacrifice. Find a way to fulfill all your needs without ever having to sacrifice. This is considered finding your true path. Paying attention to fear. Whenever you feel any fear, it is because you have surely gone off course. If you have awakened, you will not feel any real sense of fear. If fear is still present in your doing, then this is a clear indication that you need to set yourself free in your inner world. Any recognition of fear is a signal to go more deeply into meditation and into your daily practice. If you fear, your love for yourself isn't strong enough. You have forgotten your identity. You still believe that you are separate from the universe and vulnerable. You are not living in the present moment. If you were in the now, you would see that there is nothing you cannot respond to or handle. You may have believed for a moment that time is real, that things are happening to you which are beyond your control, and that you are somehow vulnerable. If you have feared, you must have believed some sort of illusion. Any illusion upon a simple recognition can easily be dispelled. This is how you let fear go. Presence of fear is lack of faith in truth and honesty. You can be practical and responsible. You can use the present moment to confront a challenge or to make plans. But even in a present moment that is not entirely enjoyable, there is still nothing to be fearful about. What is the worst that can happen? No matter what it is, can you not respond from a position of honesty using all your skills, experiences, and personal assets? Do you feel as though your life is being threatened? Seen from the perspective of your eternal identity in the realm of nothingness, even this most extreme case isn't anything to be fearful of. In this bold recognition, are you not released from all fear? This is the lesson that Jesus taught on the cross. But your life isn't being threatened. So now what do you have to fear? Whatever happens in life is to be accepted. That is the constant, the only starting point in dealing with anything. If you are afraid of something or find it difficult to deal with, then focus your attention inward on how you feel about it. Go directly into the problem. Find out the truth about it by doing more research or through true communication. If you can look at anything honestly and without fear, you can find a way to either accept the situation, find out it isn't as challenging as you thought, or you can easily change it. In any case, you will always find out that there is nothing to fear. Nothing can be solved from a state of fear. All challenges can be overcome. If you panic, if you don't think straight, if you have no control over what you do or say, then your fear leads to total failure. You can become powerful and effective by rooting out all fear and by responding to reality as it is. Ending fear is a process, and success here isn't always immediate. You are unlearning years of conditioning. But if fear remains real, then your journey toward perfect honesty and truth is still incomplete. Just try to be honest. If you can do this, life will show you that there is nothing to fear. Giving and creating value. To give is to receive. Give what you can, the most value you feel inspired to give. And the value flowing back to you will be equal, yet more valuable to you than what you have given. Giving will balance your life. You offer your abundance where you have a surplus. Abundance flows back to you where there was lack. You have strengths. Those areas where you are blessed with abundance are the areas where you can be most generous and most helpful to others. Your gift of generosity will naturally and effortlessly lead to a gift of abundance received in areas where you are lacking. True abundance means having enough in every area of life. If you lack money, offer the abundance of your skills and service. If you are wealthy but don't have much spare time, pay others who do have spare time to focus on those areas you have neglected. If you enjoy parenting or taking care of stuff around the house, offer this to a life partner who appreciates this and who brings different strengths and benefits to the relationship. You have so much to give, and much of it is unique. There's no reason you can't offer your expertise. You have acquired so much through the years of hard work and service. You are creative, honest, loyal, and skilled. The value you offer is your source of abundance because others want and need what you bring to the table. Deliver your value completely, and others will reward you in the way you need to be rewarded. Being open and honest is a requirement for collaboration. Even if you are the expert, don't try to do things all by yourself. You may not be the best in the world at anything, but you're better than 99% of people in at least one area. How can you turn that into a business? What jobs have you held, and what unique skills or insights have you gained from your work and other experiences? How might you do things better than your employer did? How might you offer the role you once provided as a valuable service to other companies? Design your product or service. Get a business license. Open a bank account. Be prepared to pay your taxes. Now get to work selling and delivering. Whatever business model you come up with, do only the parts that you do best, the parts that nobody else can do. Hire people for all the other parts. Far too often, what holds small businesses back is that the owner tries to do everything. If you have an idea how to create value, the next step is to create a process that generates profit, operates smoothly, and allows you to step back from the business so you aren't sacrificing all your precious time and energy. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Processes that generate value and profit are what businesses are all about. When you do hire people, let them work rather independently. You can do this by defining the role and your expectations precisely. How exactly is the role performed? How many times per day or week? And what result needs to happen? Understand inside and out what you are asking someone to do by first doing it yourself. Then patiently train that person. Finally, let go a bit. Give the person space to do things in their way and on their own schedule. Forget about the obsolete notion of how many hours someone works per day. Think instead about what you will invest financially to get what outcome. Consider what is reasonable to expect a person to do. What is the going rate for that work? And what financial result you expect from your investment. Hire contractors who perceive a personal benefit from the work you are offering and who find the role a better option for them than what other companies are offering. They will stay loyal and will help you to succeed. This is your idea, your process, your company, so you're the salesperson. While other people can support you in the process, the customer relationships are yours. This is about you serving and creating value for other people or businesses. The money you bring in is always just an outcome of that. Create maximum value honestly and set a reasonable price. In so doing, you will get paid what you need. In your honesty, you become the kind of leader who others will honor, follow, and can trust. As a result, you will always get paid and will always be treated fairly by everyone you work with. You are safe. Your life is abundant. If you aren't there yet, get started in the present moment and have patience. This doesn't have to happen according to any set timeline, but you can start somewhere and take each next step whenever you feel inspired to do so. You probably didn't expect that a discussion about giving would be about starting a company to deliver a product or service. This is because the world has gotten giving all wrong, and you still retain fragments of the flawed thought system of the world. Giving does not mean that you do something without generating any value flowing back to you. If you are offering value, you should receive it. To give is to receive. Give what you have to offer and allow others to return to you the value they can offer. Together, you will create the most harmonious relationships where everyone is generating abundance and creating joy in their lives by harmoniously working together. The values of ego, which are suspicion at best and attack at worst, will cut off abundance from your life. The ego would have you think that you're being prudent, but to follow your ego is to drive people away. If you aren't being honest, open, and accepting, your relationships will surely be dysfunctional. Dysfunctional relationships fail at creating anything of value. They fail to establish the trust required to take leaps of faith together. And they lead you toward a miserable life of overworking yourself only to fall short of your potential. Money is not the source of value. It It is only a storage container of value. Money flows to wherever value is being created. The giver of money naturally expects something in return. The creator of value expects to be paid the right price. Ask this question frequently, and you will never be lacking in financial abundance. What can I do or create that is most valuable to the most people? You don't need to get rich or to raise capital before you can do what you are meant to do. It's the other way around. First, you follow your inspiration and create value for others. Then the money flows to you. You are the source of value. Value is creation and service to others. Do everything you can to offer real value to others. If you can serve someone or create something that others see as valuable, then equal value will inevitably flow back to you in the form of money, fulfilling relationships, favors, new opportunities, recognition, and admiration. You must go first. Limitation is an illusion seen by those who refuse to go first. Sometimes it is enough just to explain what you are going to do. Any support or funding you need may come up front. Others may err, they may even rob and steal, but nobody gets away with anything. To acquire wealth through deceit or abuse of power is to attack. To attack is to create your own hell on earth. But you who serve and create are the truly rich. The wealth you enjoy is a beautiful reflection of the love you give. Enjoy the experience. There is no real line between your inner experience and outer. Each experience in life always involves the inner and the outer. There can therefore be no real distinction between your inner state of being and your outer journey. It is always now, and everything you are experiencing in the present moment involves what is both inside and around you. Most people live in a state of being here but wanting to be there. The unhealed mind is fixated on the idea that the present moment, just as it is never quite enough. The mind tells you that everything should be different. You should be somewhere else. It was better before, or will be better in the future. Try to go back or just wait. You just need to find a way to get there. The only way to get there is to take the direct path, which is only available to you now. Fortunately, this is an opportunity you cannot miss because it is always now. Where can you get to other than here in the present moment? Wherever you are going, you are already there. It is dishonest to see yourself as wealthier, more successful, or famous in the future, and then to form an identity around this. It is also dishonest to maintain an identity from something you accomplished in the past, or from an experience you may have had that others haven't. But this is what so many people do. They act as though they are above it all, above the reality in which they find themselves, because of some thought form. As a result, they are not enjoying the experience of what honestly is. When you become present, almost everything about what is real in this moment becomes enjoyable. You let go of those stories of being better or worse, right or wrong, guilty or not guilty. Now, when you are simply walking to the kitchen, you notice how each step feels. Now, when you are cooking, doing dishes, brushing your teeth, or going to the grocery store, you no longer feel that sense of rushing to get to the imagined destination. Most people live with this underlying thought that the present moment is only a necessary step required to get to the future, and that in the future they can finally begin to enjoy themselves. But whenever the future moment comes, it is still always perceived as just another step, and the future feeling of enjoyment is always pushed out a bit further. This is not a happy way to go through life. Enjoyment can only be experienced now. Enjoyment comes through acceptance of how you feel, what you hear, what you see, and what you are doing. If it isn't possible to enjoy this moment, then either make some adjustments so that you do enjoy it, or go do something else that you do enjoy. Telling the truth also involves telling the truth to yourself. If you have been going through life as a sort of means to get to a better future, now is the time to be honest with yourself about this error. There are always things to do which are not exactly a vacation. Even so, if your mind's attention is on the present moment, you will perceive pleasure and beauty no matter what you are doing. Imagine you are driving somewhere. If you keep thinking about how much longer it will take until you get there, you won't enjoy the trip very much. It will seem to take much longer, and even when you do arrive, you will have become so used to thinking about future enjoyment that you have a difficult time shifting your enjoyment to the present moment. You will find reasons to be disappointed even though you are at the destination you've been waiting for. Maybe your hotel room isn't good enough, or you are hungry, or someone shouldn't have said something to ruin your mood. Only you have the power to ruin your mood, and it happens whenever you give your mind total control over your mood. Now imagine instead that on this long road trip, you focus all attention on the trees speeding by you in the corner of your eyes. You feel such realness and vibrancy in the simplicity of a bird flying across the sky in front of you. You feel the smoothness or bumpiness of the road without any judgment. You enjoy the music, the conversation with a companion, or an audiobook. You feel your hands on the wheel. There need be no thought about getting there because you know that even when you arrive, it will still be the same present moment. You are already there, even as you are traveling at such a speed. How beautiful is this moment now? As the cars pass you going in the other direction, you notice them and then easily let the thoughts of them go. Your mind always stays focused only on what's happening. The colors surrounding you are so beautiful. Perhaps the rain in the windshield becomes somehow vibrant. Everything seems to come alive, and there's a new sense of ease within. This is a much better way to take a road trip. It is also a far superior way to go through life. All of life can become this experience of enjoyment, but it is only possible if it is what you want and if you are willing to train your mind to focus attention on the present moment. Telling the truth is much easier when you learn to live in the present moment, though this isn't a requirement. It's just more fun this way, and your truths will be much more pleasant. As you get better focusing your attention on the present moment, you will remain in peace even as you are talking with people, even when confronting a challenge. No more negative emotion, no more ups and downs, no fear, and no reason to ever be dishonest. Whatever your experiences may be, without judgments and without allowing the mind to pull you into the past or future, every experience can be fully enjoyed. But only if you are being honest. If your mind is busy maintaining a web of illusion, it will not be focused on the now. From acceptance of truth, you can remain present even when someone is trying to pull you into a silly and emotional argument. You can maintain your inner peace, calmly say something or not, and effortlessly allow reality to adjust accordingly. It won't matter much what happens anymore, because you will enjoy the process all the while. Chapter 9, The Simple Truth. The end of all confusion is the end of illusion. Illusions are always constructed with lies and always destroyed with truth. Partial truth solves some of the problem and makes things a bit better. But unless honesty is total and complete, you remain on the path toward crisis. Illusion is always the belief in that which is untrue and therefore constantly changing and unstable. All that is built upon what is unstable ends in collapse. And in this collapse lies all failure and suffering. There are no illusions that need be kept real. If something is an illusion, it is unreal and can be let go of. That which is unreal can easily be acknowledged as such, and the result will always be truth and therefore peace. Attempt to keep some dishonesty for yourself, and you will find yourself in the impossible service of two masters. Here is found only confusion. Here you sacrifice feeling good. You sacrifice your authority over yourself. You sacrifice freedom, perfect love, perfect peace, perfect health, everything you do want. What would you sacrifice any of this for, and why? To tell the truth is to ignore the ego's confused demands by always choosing togetherness rather than separation. It is to focus attention on the present moment rather than the past and future. This is to decide for healing and against illness, for freedom and against bondage, for the truth of experience rather than the illusion of continued fantasy. When you are honest with yourself and others, the force of life shows you the way, and the way is always good. Truth is the good with no opposite. Now, what was once fantasy becomes reality. Reality always feels a bit different than you expected. Each time you find out what is real about something, you learn. Growth then becomes your inevitable state, and growth can come only through doing. Doing is knowing, and nothing involves more honesty than doing. To tell the truth is one thing, to live it is something else entirely. When you tell the truth, you open the pathway to doing. Too often, you have avoided doing by avoiding difficult conversations and therefore pushing things out to the future. But the future is an illusion. To do in the future is to not do. To wait for someday is to wait forever. If now is all there is, all doing can only be done now. Don't worry, you cannot miss your opportunity, for it is always now. Turn on the switch. Tell your truth and live it, so that your life becomes rooted in truth. A life rooted in truth no longer contains the ups and downs, for all opposites to truth have already been recognized as unreal. Can that which is unreal affect you in any real way? Your responsibilities in life never require that you honor the unreal. While others may judge you as insensitive to their pain, your effect on them will ultimately be that of healing. Because they fear, they may prefer to delay crisis through the continued maintenance of illusion. You will not help with this illusion because your knowing is in truth. When others are suffering, your truths may seem insensitive. But it would be dishonest to make their suffering real because it need not be and is not real. Now you will ease suffering through forgiveness. Rather than delaying the recognition of truth wherever it may be, you will bring it to light, teach its correction, and you will instantly forgive error even before anyone has asked for your forgiveness. You are not guilty, nor is anyone else. But in this world, where the truth is not taught and must instead be remembered, error is a necessary and unavoidable part of the curriculum. How wonderful it is to intimately know all the effects of error from having lived it. Even your errors have become part of your truth because now you understand the effects. Many will doubt this message for the simple reason that the error of dishonesty has not yet led to crisis in their lives. Yet still, on some level, suffering is always present. There are the constant ups and downs. There is the confusion and fear. But all this seems normal, and for that reason, somehow acceptable. For all those who continue to doubt the power of perfect honesty, the crisis will come. The illusions will be exposed. When this happens, the truth will be remembered, and for the simple reason that here it has already been revealed. Truth, once revealed, cannot be forgotten. While you may choose to use time to delay living it, the instant of total awakening, the perfect alignment of your inner and outer world, awaits you and is inevitable. When this happens, you will experience heaven in this life and in eternity. Eventually, enough of us will choose to awaken now, not in the future, and a massive remembering of truth will overcome the world. Perfect honesty is the only real revolution. Any other so-called revolution changes nothing and only constructs a new illusion in a different form. Let dishonesty only be forgotten, and the world changes in an instant. If there is even one fully awakened person who always speaks and lives the truth, it will be enough to heal all the world. This person will show the way to so many others, and those others will show the way to still others in turn, that a total healing of the world is inevitable. The world will awaken from this bad dream, this dishonesty, this scary and confused dream of ego. The world will enjoy the fearless stream of truth and beauty. You are already perfectly free, and therefore nothing will stand in your way. It is already so. The good dream of life is a dream where all honesty is welcomed. If there is something you feel inspired to share, you have authority to share it. If you feel excited about doing something, you have the authority to do it. Any doubts or taboos have now been lifted upon your own authority, which has been the only real authority all along. Now boundaries and taboos have been replaced with unconditional acceptance. Attack has been replaced with a loving correction of error. Now there's a gentleness to life that extends forever through this dimension and beyond into the eternal. Heaven is now, and upon your authority over yourself, you are free to choose it now if you want. All you need to do is to tell the truth about everything. Always tell the truth, and the outcome is certain. Chapter 10, Application. If there is still any doubt that you are perfectly free, this notion can be easily dispelled through the very real application of your ability to tell the truth and to live in truth. How can something still be considered impossible after it is offered to you as real? Perhaps you have felt limited by the constraints that the world has imposed upon you. You have not seen a path toward perfect healing. You may have given up on the possibility of heaven in this life because nobody has reminded you of the way. But now, by accepting this message of perfect honesty, you have taken authority, and you are already showing yourself the way toward lasting happiness. The concepts in this book are not new. You are not learning anything you did not already know. Rather, you are remembering that which you have learned to forget, to conceal, and to doubt. Truth need only be stated and is then recognized. It requires no further argument or debate to be so. It is already known to be so. Then it is lived, and it remains so. Other times, when what is thought to be true is then experienced, it is found to be not quite true. In those cases, further illusion has been revealed, and the truth is then eventually known. This is how honesty works. In no case can telling the truth and living in truth fail. You will always reach the destination of truth if you remain faithful to honesty. This is a very different thought system and a very different way of life. If you want to illuminate your life with this light, then a daily practice of remembering is required. Eventually, you may find your own daily practice that works best for you. The practice need not be difficult at all. It is nothing other than your enjoyment of happiness. But this thought system does require some repetition to make real, along with faith and conviction to overcome the conditioning of this world. There is a simple tool you can use, if nothing else, as a reminder and demonstration of your perfect freedom to live in honesty. If you are interested in seeing it, please download this mobile app and register. The mobile app is on iOS, iPhone, as well as Android. It is available from the App Store and Google Play. The app is called I Am by Infobeing. That's I Am by Infobeing, Infobeing. Introducing I Am by Infobeing. The purpose of this app is to provide a technology platform where you are free and where nothing prevents you from doing what you choose to do. You may have read other books, listened to speeches, or engaged in seminars, but then you may have returned to an unchanged life and see little opportunity to apply what you have learned. While revelations may have occurred and even been adopted on a personal level, sometimes new concepts are difficult to apply. Often, it is difficult to find others who understand your direction and share your purpose. If you decide to become honest and accepting, then it certainly helps and is a lot more fun to interact with other people who have chosen to do the same. Without the support of a community, you may begin questioning the new perspectives and fall back into the usual patterns. The shift is different because it is an idea that is also brought to life through a technology platform. I Am by Infobeing is the app where this community takes form. The I Am community is a globally connected group of people who share the purpose of living in perfect honesty, openness, and acceptance. Almost everyone who takes part in this community has the same purpose and the same intention. The I Am community is intended as an easy way for you to establish and maintain your practice of speaking and living your truth. The specific features will be explained further, but the mobile app is a place to do the following. Express and share your positive truths about what you want to do as it relates to other people. Make connections with compatible people based on mutual wants and needs. Communicate freely with anyone in the community who you feel inspired to communicate with. Create abundance in your life by engaging in transactions using the I Am virtual currency, which is built into the app. And also spend a few minutes each day reading a short teaching to help you remember the path of truth and to guide you toward additional resources. You are invited to use this mobile app as a focal point. You are invited to use this free mobile app as a focal point to organize your daily practice of awakening. The basic components will now be explained further. The daily teaching. As soon as you can after you awaken each morning, open I Am on your mobile device and click the icon in the top right corner to read the short teaching. This will help set you on the right track for the day, will serve as a reminder of everything you've heard in this audiobook, and will bring new teachings into your life. Also, check out some of the books mentioned in the daily posts for yourself. My statements. The primary function of the app is to create I Am statements, which describe what you are doing or want to do as it relates to other people. You can enter structured sentences that are intended to match with compatible sentences created by others. The idea is to bring people into your life so that you can get to know one another. You can do things together and create abundance in every area of your life. Creating an I Am statement is an act of setting an intention for yourself. These are positive statements of your truth, starting with the words I am, which are then followed by a verb and description about what you want and what you are doing. Your statements are visible to the community, but we do our best to only reveal statements to people who you match with. At the very least, creating an I Am statement is an expression of your honesty. Even if nothing materializes, you will also see that it isn't so scary to be open and honest. You will begin to trust in your ability to tell all your truths. Creating statements. At the top of the app's main screen, there is a large field that reads I am. Finish a sentence about what you are interested in doing. Tap anywhere in this field. You are creating a structured sentence, and the first step is to select a verb. Meeting is the default for non-commercial transactions. Use this option if you are simply trying to meet another person for a specific purpose that has nothing to do with buying or selling. Note, meeting statements match with meeting statements and no others. Offering is what you would choose for the verb if you are offering something of value, your product, service, or anything someone might want to buy. Purchasing is what you would choose if you are describing something you want to buy from another person. Note, offering statements match with purchasing statements and no others. Working is chosen if you want to describe the kind of work you do. Use this option if you are looking for new work opportunities. Hiring is chosen if you are trying to find someone to hire for a role. Note, working and hiring statements match together and do not match with any others. After you have selected the verb for your sentence, you see a flashing cursor which prompts you to complete your sentence. Here, you can use regular language to describe who you want to meet, what you are offering, purchasing, and what kind of work you want to do or who you are hiring. End your statement with a period and tap Save. The more descriptive and meaningful you can make these statements, the better your matching, and the more likely it will be that the right person will find you and will write. Also note that there is an option to add details to a statement. Here, you can add additional information in the description field. You can also choose whether to match only with users nearby you or anywhere. You can select a specific date range if relevant. Feel free to create as many statements as you can think of about anything you want to do or experience. If there is anything you want to do with another person that feels off limits, or that you would be in trouble for if someone else in your life knew, this is a clear indication that some level of dishonesty remains in your life. Perhaps you should prepare to talk with anyone who you feel is holding you back from being perfectly honest about what you want. Also, keep in mind that many statements are probably relevant to only people who are geographically near you. Selecting nearby narrows your matches to only those people and may be used to prevent your more personal statements from being seen by everyone. Your I am statements reflect the truth about what you want to do as it relates to other people. This can be an important part of your practice of honesty and openness. See how honest you can be with yourself about the ways you would like to open up to others. Even if you don't get any great matches, the community is still very new and growing. You set an intention here of being open to other people, and this decision will be carried throughout all aspects of your life. Managing statements. The I am statements you create can be edited or deleted from the My Statements tab at the bottom of the app. Here you can also click on the View Matches icon to see the most relevant matches for each particular statement. Home screen. The Matches icon on the bottom left is the home screen. Here you can see all the matches for all your statements. By clicking on the funnel icon at the top, you can filter by most relevant or most recent. Please keep in mind that the app is new. The community is still small but growing. You will surely see many matches which are not exactly relevant to your statements. As the community grows, we will tighten the search parameters to make matches more relevant. In the meantime, try to spend at least a few seconds each day scrolling down the wall to see if there's anyone who inspires you to write. Messages. If someone on the app has created a statement that intrigues you and you'd like to explore something together, simply tap the message icon beneath his or her statement. This takes you to a standard messaging interface where you can begin a conversation and the other person will be notified of your message. Here you can practice the perfect communication skills you have learned in this audiobook with new people in a relatively safe environment. Relationships formed on the app will help you establish the right habits to extend honest communication to everyone in your life. The I am virtual currency. The intention of this app is to show you how to take full authority not just over you and your freedom, but to demonstrate that a community with a shared purpose can join together to create abundance. The systems of this world have attempted to prevent us from exercising perfect freedom by controlling and restricting our ability to trade and store value. There are a whole set of laws and regulations that require the reporting of transactions through accounting. Financial transactions between people in this world are monitored and taxed. Those who seek power often create rules to make it seem inevitable that you must give up your authority over yourself. They understand that for them to maintain control, you must not claim your authority over you. Furthermore, free-flowing communication between people must feel restricted. Ours is a faith that says we, as divine beings, have the right to express our truths, to communicate our truths, to do things together without fear, and even to use a point-based system, virtual currency, as a way to keep track of our giving and receiving. Not only is this the right we grant ourselves upon our authority, the governments of the world have specifically designated it as our right. To exercise this right to be left alone by the government, we simply needed to state that it is a matter of religious, spiritual faith. This is exactly what we did in forming the I Am by InfoBeing Foundation, and through it, we are free to practice our faith openly. The governments of the world have agreed not to interfere on matters of faith. The I Am by InfoBeing mobile app is protected under freedom of religion, and as such, the I Am by InfoBeing Foundation has a 501c3 status in the state of Washington, USA. Our non-denominational spiritual faith is rooted in not only the freedom to speak, write, and to communicate in openness and honesty, but also depends upon having the freedom to serve one another as our path toward abundance. The ability to track the true value of what we give and receive is fundamental to our faith and our ability to exercise it. The only real freedom is spiritual freedom. Freedom without spiritual understanding is only the ego acting out. And ego acting out always requires an outside authority to keep it in check. But the governments of this world have recognized long ago that people acting in true spiritual faith are not a threat. We are the light and the hope for a world that is very ill. They let us be in peace because we understand what freedom is and that it threatens no one. Freedom is of being, which is another word for spirit or the soul. True freedom can cause no harm. Our I Am faith is perhaps the world's first attempt to move beyond the confines of centralized institutions that reject the honesty of our humanity. We are moving beyond a place of worship, a book, or a retreat to live this faith fully and openly in our lives. We also move beyond the selfish, violent systems of uncontrolled capitalism. We go beyond centralization, which is always the problem. Institutions are inherently dishonest, structured to withhold truth within and without. Inside their walls is a darkness that cannot be penetrated, hiding their secrets at all costs. From the vast darkness of their inherent dishonesty, immeasurable suffering and crisis always flow. There can be no healing of the world while institutions remain in control. Ours is a faith rooted in total honesty, openness, and unconditional acceptance. It is loving, can cause no harm, and is organized, although it can never be allowed to become centralized. Centralization is the opposite of freedom. Centralization is the belief that there is something bigger than you which has authority over you. This bigger entity then makes rules restricting your freedom. Eventually, centralized institutions end up growing powerful enough to decide much of your fate. They also protect themselves with total disregard for human beings, attempting to enforce their ego through all the usual games and causing only the usual misery and crisis, though on a much larger scale than a person acting alone. For the world to heal, the revolution needs to occur. The revolution can only be decentralized because decentralization is just another word for freedom. Revolution is always the restoration of freedom, or it is not revolution. The process of restoring freedom need not be chaotic. We only need reliable, well-designed, decentralized systems to deliver the possibility of freedom to all and to simplify honest human interaction. I Am by InfoBeing is presented as this type of system. As of now, because the app is still not blockchain-based, it can't be called decentralized. But the design and the user experience, while not perfect, delivers on the intention of creating a decentralized, yet connected and organized community. However, until it becomes blockchain-based and truly unstoppable by any centralized authority, it remains vulnerable to the arbitrary decisions of Apple, Google, and other powerful forces. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum have demonstrated what a decentralized system looks like and that it works. Today, there is no reason our trading of value needs to be restricted to government-issued fiat currency. Cryptocurrency proves that it is possible to trade data, ones and zeros, as a storage container of value, if that is what we choose to do as free human beings. Two people can trade data in freedom as part of your right to free speech. This, as your right in a free society, is self-evident. Money is only a storage container of value. Whenever two or more people agree that something is a form of money, so it is. Use government-issued currency and you must comply with all the regulations that come along with it. Choose to use something else, and you can do so in freedom. In the case of this mobile app, you may choose to offer something of value to another person and be paid an IM. Then you can use the IM you have earned to purchase something else of value that you want or need from another person who you meet on the app. With this simple mobile app, we have created a model for a new economy. This can become a people economy, where rather than depending upon corporations for most of what we buy, rather than depending upon the jobs they offer for income, You can do what you want in freedom and even trade and store financial value. As a virtual currency, I am isn't recognized as money by any institutions. But if we choose to make it so, I am can be a symbol of our faith, representing the freedom we are claiming to connect with one another, and a way to facilitate abundance through giving and receiving on a global scale. I am, combined with the full functionality of this app, can be a very real storage container of value and can be useful in unleashing human potential by connecting us in all the ways we are compatible. The I Am by InfoBeing app contains everything you need to pay, store, and use I Am as the currency in this global economy of people connecting with one another. The intention is for you to open yourself to others in honesty and to act upon your shared needs. This is a model that is potentially more elegant and effective than the capitalist economy because it can be so easy to meet exactly the right person to fulfill any need you may have. The systems of ego are designed to keep you separated, so you are dependent upon them. This app demonstrates a very different way, a way of total freedom. If this functionality is used correctly, with perfect faith, and on a massive scale, we begin to free ourselves from the systems of dishonest control that have overrun our lives. We can do this now, without any need to win an election or to battle against or fight the system at all. This is what nonviolent revolution looks like. It is easy and ours if we choose it. To be perfectly clear, today the app is not yet that instant portal into perfect freedom and abundance. So far, not enough people have chosen for it to be so. But we're only getting started and it works. If you exercise your authority over yourself to make so what you decide to make so, if you bring about the end of sacrifice and choose to do whatever it is you want to in perfect honesty, if you are endlessly patient, if you believe in decentralization rather than centralized control over everything, you can easily see, after only a few moments playing around with this app, that a different world is possible now. The revolution may happen on this app, or it may happen in some other way. At the very least, the I Am by InfoBeing app serves as a model, and also a very real possibility that the switch can happen now, not just in your life, but also on a massive global scale. The idea here is to fully unleash human potential by removing the illusions that keep us small and by setting ourselves free. I Am is the world's first virtual currency that is directly tied to unleashing the full creative potential of people. Other cryptocurrencies are based on the ups and downs of financial speculation, but I Am is intended as a currency that is to be used primarily for person-to-person transactions such as favors. Aside from earning it, you can also purchase I Am by contributing to the foundation over the app. $10 equals 1 I Am. Or by referring your friends using the unique referral code you can get on the app. If you want this idea to work, it is in your hands, waiting to be made so. What is needed is nothing short of a conviction that never dies, endless patience, a daily practice, a deeper knowing of the truth which cannot fail simply because it is the truth. As the I Am community gains momentum, the plan is to create a fully decentralized, unstoppable blockchain version of this entire app. I Am is already a cryptocurrency, an ERC20 token with only 100 million I Am in existence. But as of now, you can't sell it for government-issued currency like you can Bitcoin because it isn't traded on an exchange. For now, we can use it exactly how currency is intended, to unleash value, which is not money, but creation and service to others within an economy of people. The potential of human beings is the ultimate source of value. Let's connect in honesty with a shared purpose to reach our full potential as individuals and as a community. People have been restricted. Now we are free. What exactly is our value? We can find out now by releasing it in freedom. I Am is intended as a community of healed, honest people who are constantly growing and capable of infinite value. There are no promises here. This is only a vision of where we would like to go, a very beautiful and entirely possible intention. Whether or not the I Am by InfoBeing mobile app becomes a valuable tool in your daily practice, you have already turned the switch. You have awakened. You have begun your path toward perfect honesty, openness, and unconditional acceptance. You have chosen to be happy and free. It is already so in your life, and nothing in the realm of the external can take this away. Chapter 11, Conclusion. The world we see today is filled with so much pain and suffering. You have suffered in your thoughts, in your relationships, and in your work. You know your neighbors are suffering because you listen to their fights and arguments. Beyond that, there is so much homelessness and substance abuse. People are tired, stressed, and feeling hopeless. Few people are even physically healthy. Pain and suffering have become today's normal state of human existence. The youth are also suffering, largely withdrawing from the world and into the temporary escape found in their devices. They don't have it so bad yet. Their suffering is on a lower level because they think their story will end differently. Just as you did, they believe that their reward for all this nonsense will be pretty much as promised. It isn't so. Unless we are honest with them, unless we allow them to be honest, and unless we find the courage to speak the whole truth, then their journey will also be this same cycle of suffering that leads to crisis. Devices need not lead to isolation. Technology can set you free if you choose to be free. You can show and lead the way. So many of the self-proclaimed spiritually awakened, and there may be millions around the world today, have also withdrawn. With so much talk about removing toxic people from their lives, establishing boundaries, and so easily discarding anyone who does or says anything they don't like, their spirituality offers very little relief for anyone but themselves. Any awakening that needs to be protected with boundaries is no awakening at all. Only ego continuing to find value in separation and continuing to temporarily boost self-esteem by projecting the image of being more spiritual and better than others. To truly awaken is to become open, to unconditionally love all your brothers and sisters, and to go through life with the intention of alleviating suffering in others. The truly awakened are unafraid of anything, especially not other people who are only living their lives. When you are honest, there is no reason to fear or avoid other people. In honesty, you care nothing about your image and do not judge your own feelings or reactions. If someone says something that doesn't make you feel good, you can say so. If you don't feel like spending time with someone, you can say so. But these days, people would rather be dishonest about how they feel, dishonest about their intentions, dishonest about who they are, always trying to avoid hurting feelings, while simultaneously trying to become better than others. This leads them to say what they don't mean, smile when they don't feel like smiling, and pretend they don't care when they do. Most of even the self-proclaimed spiritual or awakened people today are not being entirely honest. We now see that the lack of honesty is the only problem that need be corrected in this world. It is the cause, while all the seemingly different varieties of problems of the world are only the effects. There can be only one fundamental error in this life: dishonesty. Watch the news today or study history. You will see the horrific effects of what happens when humanity becomes detached from honesty. Was there ever a war that was not waged with lies? Is the destruction of the environment not carried out in a state of dishonesty with ourselves and one another? Would any of this happen if we were being honest? All this time we have believed that some lies are justified. Justified by what? Is there some higher purpose or some result that is more worthwhile or desirable than perfect honesty? What can be considered valuable, important, or worthwhile, and yet beyond truth? If anything were important, legitimate, and justified, would it not also be true? Could there be a path toward any truth which requires some dishonesty to be made real? Whatever it was that we were searching for or working toward in the future, whatever we thought was more important than telling the truth, if it does not stand in perfect honesty and truth, then what is it? That which cannot stand in truth is illusion. Whatever we pursue outside of truth is false, and therefore is to act in error in pursuit of an idol. While truth can be used to describe error, no error can continue to exist within truth. Dishonesty is the root cause, and all problems flow from it. Even in this perfect knowledge, the process of healing isn't complete. The intention to be only honest and to always tell the truth is only the beginning of your healing. It is your decision to heal, and even to make such a decision in this world is still very rare. After this decision, this enjoyable release from suffering through the remembrance of perfect truth, comes a lifetime commitment to truth. This requires an open mind and heart, and an unshakable willingness to consider the honesty and dishonesty in everything you see, hear, read, or think. The truth will surprise you. It is almost always directly opposed to what the world thinks is true. But you are the authority now, and nobody else is more qualified to know what is true and what is false. Now, with an open mind and heart, focus on the joy and bliss of this present moment. You are free to explore, to experience, to do, and therefore to know. Learn your truth and share it with everyone. The switch is only a decision to be honest. By only being honest, you become a perfect example, a perfect teacher who is always capable of illuminating the truth for others and allowing them to do the same. This message of truth now becomes yours to speak, to live, and to teach. If you still aren't ready, you will be. In all your suffering and in each crisis, you will now look honestly at the cause. You will see that the cause is always dishonesty somewhere, and dishonesty alone. In this knowing, truth will always prevail. What is crisis other than the light of truth exposing a lie? If there were no lies to begin with, what crisis could there be? You would live in truth. Truth, by definition, cannot change or be threatened. Therefore, it cannot lead to crisis, misery, or suffering. To live in peace is to live within the calm safety of truth. When there are no lies anywhere in your life, then you are free. Nothing can threaten you. But to get there, you'll have to start eliminating all untruth wherever it may exist in your life. You will need to be perfectly honest with yourself, perfectly honest about whether you believe any of the tired lessons of the world, and perfectly honest in all your communication with everyone. This shift toward perfect honesty, for a time, will bring about painful changes in your life. This is the undoing of ego, the shedding of all lies that have kept you suffering. There is no way to awaken to consciousness, to enter the kingdom of heaven, to end your suffering, if you do not start with perfect honesty. Anything less than perfect honesty is belief in separation, the idea that there is still some value in keeping yourself apart from the perfect force of life itself. This is the sickness that we have now cured with perfect honesty.